Well, I would just say something that I think a lot of the people who are coming to my YouTube channel are relatively young. Most of the people who are on my YouTube channel are probably in their mid 20s to early 30s. So to me, that makes you new to the Palestinian issue. Uh, and many of them have said that on their Telegram channel. I mean, they ask for books and sources to learn more, and that's great. But you do not know. You haven't lived through the history of this situation for the last several decades. I've been following this situation, specifically in Gaza, since before I was even a Muslim. Since the 1980s, I've been following the situation in Palestine. All of the emotional rhetoric that people are hearing now, that young people are hearing now, and that some of them are spouting themselves, we've all heard that for decades. It's a script that everyone knows. I mean, it may be new to you, and it resonates with you because you feel strongly about Palestine, and you should. But you need to understand something. All of this rhetoric has ever only been used to gain fake credibility, gain fake honor and respect and admiration, and to look like a hero without ever actually doing anything useful or anything that brings tangible results for the Palestinians. It's self-serving, self-aggrandizing, and it's cynical. This is exactly what the Arab rulers used to do and have done for years, which is just to use the Palestinian cause as a cloak that they can put on anytime they need to get quick credibility with their people. They express their moral outrage, their completely empty rhetorical support for Palestine. Make takbir. Boom, suddenly. They're great Muslim leaders, with good hearts and so on, and sincere and pure and good-hearted. And that's all it is. Whether you know it or not, it leads nowhere. It changes nothing. It helps no one. And I'm sick of it. Look, I know very well that what I'm saying will make a lot of people angry. And they'll castigate me and they'll call me all sorts of names. I know that. If I wanted to be popular, if I wanted to get all the accolades, I could do all the quasi-religious pro-Palestinian rhetoric better than they can. I can make videos stirring up emotions about Gaza. I can deliver khutbas that would break your heart. I can deliver khutbas that would fill your hearts with vengeance against the Zionist oppressors. I can do all that, and I can do it better than any of these people. That's absolutely the easiest thing that you can do, because we all know the script. We all know the rhetoric. I could do that on autopilot. I have the verbal skills and the eloquence to deliver all that same old, tired, empty, emotional rhetoric better than any of these people. And I'd make my life easier by doing it too. I get all the applause, make all the takbirs, do all of that, but it's dishonest. It's cynical, and it accomplishes nothing whatsoever. The only thing that it accomplishes is for the speaker himself to self-indulgently virtue signal, and to make yourself look moral and righteous and uncompromising. It's just for your own appearance, but otherwise it's absolutely useless, and I don't respect it at all. It's not serious, even if the feeling is serious. Even if you feel like it is serious, it's not serious. It's utterly useless. You cannot claim to actually care about the Palestinians or to actually care about Palestine, while at the same time you're advocating what has actually been the status quo for 76 years and has accomplished nothing. You don't get to pretend that you care about Palestine and the Palestinians, and while you're busy making all of your self-aggrandizing rhetoric, the Palestinians have to just be left with no solution, just so that you can feel moral and righteous. I think that's despicable. The Palestinians have to just be left with no solution so that you can continue to insist on a delusional, completely uninformed notion of driving the Jews into the sea or what have you. This is the daydream of a bullied teenager. This isn't a plan. This isn't political strategy. Look, I don't like normalization any more than anyone else does. It would be great, if we lived in a world where you always got to make choices that satisfy your need for instant moral gratification and it actually solved problems. But that's not the world that we live in. And if you think that that's the world that we live in, then you live in a bubble and you have no place in any conversation that pertains to the real world. Stay in your bubble. I'm happy for you. I mean, if you've been able to live all this time, all your life, without ever actually having to face the complexities and the challenges and the ugliness of the real world, then that's wonderful. Hooray for you. And for some of you, that bubble, the bubble that you live in, is actually a mosque. It's a masjid. So stay there. I advise you to stay there. Become knowledgeable about the deen. Become knowledgeable about the religion. But don't assume that that qualifies you to talk about politics, to talk about economics or international relations or anything of that sort, because it doesn't. Look, you're the type of person who knows things in the religion, but doesn't know how to apply what you know in real life. You're a warehouse instead of a factory. You have a supply of knowledge, but you can't make anything with it. And I'm terribly sorry, but no, I do not think that it is Islamic just to leave the Palestinians to bleed and suffer, and you can call that a moral stance or call that an Islamic stance. No, it isn't. But you just get triggered by the word normalization, and I get it. I understand why, but I don't care. You can get triggered. You get triggered all you want. You can get as offended as you want. You can call me every name in the book, and I promise you I've been called worse, and I've been called worse than that on the front page of the New York Times, and I've had worse things done to me. So it doesn't matter to me. If you don't have something useful to contribute that's actually going to make life better for the Palestinians, then as far as I'm concerned, you may as well be a Zionist, because all your nothing talk is helping them more than it helps the people of Gaza. And you're fooling yourself and you're lying to yourself if you think that that makes you some kind of compassionate, heroic, principled Muslim do-gooder. But you're not a do-gooder. You're not a doer at all of anything. If there was a viable alternative to normalization, I would run with it. If someone could give me an alternative, a viable alternative, well, I'd be grateful. But I haven't heard one yet. And I haven't even heard it from all the people who are arguing against normalization, which would be the opportune time to offer an alternative. But the only thing that they ever offer is just the same old status quo that we've had for almost 80 years. Or else they offer BDS. But they don't offer any game-changing, real problem-solving alternative that has anywhere near the potential impact of GCC countries seizing economic territory inside of Israel, cultivating private sector dependencies inside of Israel, and shifting Israel's economic interests to the Arab world. Why, it's gaining economic dominion over that whole land, but you don't see any of that because your brain just stops working when you hear the word normalization. And that's fine. That's fine if your brain stops working. But if your brain stops working, then your mouth should stop working too.